Hi, I'm Dave Koltai, the CTO for Pigtronix, and in this video, I'll be taking you through some looping techniques that utilize the MIDI capabilities of the Infinity 3. In these examples, we'll use either a pedal with tap tempo or a digital audio workstation to provide MIDI clock. And later, I'll show off the customizable time signature feature from our 2022 firmware update. In this first example, we'll use Logic to control the actions of the Infinity 3. We'll set the BPM in Logic, and Infinity 3 will sync accordingly. I've set the Infinity 3 to ignore MIDI start and stop messages from Logic so that I can control all of the critical looping functions using my pedal board, while still remaining in sync with the MIDI clock signal. The default settings of the Infinity 3 cause all MIDI timing commands to occur on the downbeat of the next measure, on the 1, after the action has been triggered. This allows the MIDI clock to do the hard work of opening and closing the loops while you focus on the musical performance. In this next example, I'm using a Morningstar MC6 as a tap tempo MIDI clock source for the Infinity 3 and an Echolution 3 delay. This allows me to sync the actions of the looper to the timing of the delay. When using a MIDI clock source with the Infinity looper, all actions will occur on the downbeat of the next bar. A critical feature that I'm using here is the Infinity 3's AZR mode. AZR, or Auto Zero Record, is a boot option that is turned on by holding down the Loop 1 foot switch when you power up the unit. This allows me to define the 1, aka the downbeat, while still letting the external MIDI clock control the overall tempo. Using the two loops in series, I'll create a verse part, followed by a chorus part. After transitioning between the parts, I'll use the MIDI controller to trigger the Erase Other command, which deletes the loop that is not playing. This frees up loop 2 to be used for a quick outro before returning to loop 1 and triggering the final fade out. Right out of the box, Infinity 3's default time signature is 4/4. With the 2022 firmware update installed, you can change the time signature on the fly using MIDI CC commands. In this final example, I'm going to use the MIDI controller to send a 6/8 time signature command to the Infinity 3. Instead of the series looping technique seen in the previous example, this time I'm using the parallel loops mode to record a synth bass part on loop 2 after I lay down guitars on loop 1. Sync multi is set to x8, which causes loop 2 to be 8 times longer than loop 1. Notice how loop 2 is cued in advance to play automatically at the boundary defined by the MIDI clock.